well, indoors today. It's a cold, wet November morning, and other than watching the fire or maybe looking out the window at some wildlife, I thought I'd take the opportunity to compare a couple cook sets. One a lightweight, it's the GSI Pinnacle Soloist, and the other considered an ultra lightweight, which is the Snow Peak Titanium Mini Solo. So we're going to take a look at both of these, compare and contrast, and you can go from there. I've used this version of the GSI Soloist for several years now, and it's held up pretty well. It does come with a lid. There is a bowl inside right there, and it also comes with this stuff sack, which also they say serves as a sink. Now, I've never seen any purpose for it as a sink, and when you put the kit together and lock it down, it does hold together pretty well. So I've never actually used the sink. With the sink, it weighs a little over 10 ounces. If you just bring the cook kit itself, you're looking at 9 3/4 ounces. It has held up for me very well. I probably had this on a couple thousand miles of hikes. The one thing I've had to replace is this bowl, and that was strictly my own fault. I actually got to a shelter on the long trail late one night. It was dark. I was tired. I opened her up, poured some water in to heat for a freeze-dried meal. Didn't think about the fact that this bowl was inside, and noticed a few minutes later my water was smelling a little like plastic. This has a non-stick coating, and I can verify that. I was actually able to scrape the plastic off of the coating, and we're still as good as new inside. The bowl itself has an insulation layer on it. You can take that off to wash it, but that works very well. It keeps oatmeal warm a surprisingly amount of time. The lid locks on pretty good. You can use it when you're heating. It does have some small holes on it. You can use it to drain if you've got too much water in with your food. The handle, very well insulated. You don't have to worry about burning yourself when you hold the handle. Overall, a very nice kit. One thing, if having a morning cup of coffee is important to you, you need to bring a cup. Otherwise, I guess you could have a bowl of coffee or perhaps a pot of coffee. But if you do like sitting around a campfire with a cup of coffee, this kit does not have that. On the flip side, this is what many people consider to be an ultralight kit. The Snow Peak, it is titanium. You do need to bring the mesh bag with this. It tends to rattle a little bit, and the bag does keep it together. But this kit includes, if I can get it out of the bag here quickly. There we go. You have a pot with a lid. The lid has a little plastic handle on it, so you can pull that off. Handles come out. They stay relatively cool, though you do have to be a little bit careful. They can get hot if you're running the burner on high, and especially if you leave it a little too far over to the side on the stove. The cup's a good size. You can make oatmeal in it. You can also drink your cup of coffee in the morning. One thing I like about this cup is it is very well marked with volumes. So if you're measuring out for a freeze-dried meal or whatever, you can pour the water in there, pour it in your cup, and that works pretty well. The GSI is not marked, but this is an older model. I believe the new ones are marked. Either one, though, you do want to check the actual markings with known volumes of water to make sure they're accurate before you go out there. The GSI at REI right now is running about $55, the new version. The titanium Snow Peak is running about $75.95. And this entire kit, including the stuff sack, weighs in at 6.75 ounces. So you know, around 2.5 ounce difference between the two. One of the nice things about these kits is you can not only nest the kit itself together, as you can add some things to it to just make your overall load a little bit smaller. For example, with the GSI, you can take one of the canisters, first put the bowl in, you can drop the canister in right on top of that. This is an MSR pocket rocket that fits sort of in there. A lighter. If you bring a stove without an ignition switch, you can fit that in there. And possibly cram a spoon in as well. So there you have the whole kit right there. Everything together. Now the the Snow Peak with this one, you can certainly drop in the canister. You can fit in a pocket rocket. You're not getting a spoon in there. You can get a lighter in with it. If you don't have a pocket rocket, this is a smaller kind of a no-name stove that fits in even easier. The lighter goes in with it fairly well. Turn it around here. Yeah, maybe it doesn't. Yeah, you can get it in there if you fight it. But you cannot get, either way, you cannot get the spoon and the lighter in with this kit. So you didn't need to keep your spoon with your food. No big deal, but it's just a matter of this one doesn't have quite as much room inside. So what we'll do now, I've got some water at room temperature, and we're going to do a heating test. All right. We've got the pocket rocket going full blast. Hopefully you can hear me over this. And we're going to see if there's any real difference in the cook times on these two pots. We've got 16 ounces of water at room temperature in each. It's going to be a long couple minutes here. Maybe we'll look at the deer a little bit more. Alright, we're just over 2 minutes in. We've got a good rolling boil. So 2 minutes works for the GSI. Now we'll try the Snow Peak. Turn that off so you can hear me a little better. Actually took a little longer for the Snow Peak. My guess is because the diameter of the pot's a little smaller, the water was deeper, so it might have been a little tougher to heat all the way through. But it took about 2.5 minutes for the Snow Peak to boil the 16 ounces of water. It took about 2 minutes even for the GSI, so that's definitely faster. If I didn't mention it before, the GSI holds about 37 ounces total, the Snow Peak about 30. But because it holds a little more and because it doesn't scorch quite as easy, you can do more than just a freeze-dried meal, like this lovely rice and chicken. What you can do are things that are a little more complicated and also cheaper. Perhaps one of my favorites, which is a combination of a Knorr Spanish rice and Spam, otherwise known as Spanish rice. Makes a great meal. In the meantime, I'll put up a chart and we'll run down the differences between the two cook kits. I switch between the two kits depending on what trip I'm on. If I could only have bought one, I'd have gotten a GSI. The weight penalty is made up by a lower fuel use. You save $1, and when I make oatmeal in the morning, it can sit there while I break down my camp, and I can still have a hot breakfast. In the very near future, I'm going to be doing a video on the difference between freeze-dried food and combinations such as my world-famous Spanish rice. If you don't want to miss that, be sure to hit the subscribe button. And in the meantime, take care, and when the weather's decent, keep hiking.